Philips or DeLonghi? That's probably the most common question in the comments since I launched Cafelista. And maybe the real question isn't which one is better on the paper, but which one is better for you. We'll see together which one makes the better coffee, better cappuccino, but you will know everything at the end of the video. Hi everyone, I'm Colin, welcome to Cafelista. This is the channel where we talk coffee, independent machine reviews, because yes, this is not a sponsored video, here is my honest opinion. Two things before we dive in. I have tested pretty much the full lineup from both Philips and DeLonghi. So not everything, I have a pretty small budget, but still pretty much Rivelia, the LatteGo, all of the basic Magnifica, the Dinamica for the Philips, the previous 2200, 3200, and also the new lineup. So that gives me a pretty solid picture of what each brand actually delivers. Second, we're not going to compare two different specific models. We are more talking about two brands, two philosophies, and two different ways of making coffee at home. We are going through 4 rounds together, the everyday experience, the coffee quality, milk drinks, and finally maintenance. I'll give you a clear, no-nonsense verdict, Philips or DeLonghi, and why. Let's go. Let's start with the everyday experience, everyday use, and the ease of use. For interface and ease of use, Philips has historically done a great job with the interface. Their machines have pretty clear touch screens, intuitive icons, a logical flow from the very first use. Basically, you put the machine on the counter, you press a button, and you have your coffee. No manual needed, no trial and error, it's pretty straightforward. On the higher model, you also have a little screen, a colored screen. It's not the touch screen, but it works pretty well. Now, on the other hand, on some DeLonghi, some machines have some sort of dated interface on their entry-level model, the Magnifica, for example. But the good news is that changed a lot. Newer generation of machine, the Evo Next, the Rivelia, the LatteGo, have pretty nice color touchscreen, guided menus. And even on the classic model like the Magnifica Evo, you find some touchscreen buttons that are pretty clear and easy to get the hang of it quickly. In terms of customization and range, DeLonghi offers a very wide range of machine, much more than Philips. Also something to remember and to note, the Philips share for all their machines the same design. You will have some change in the interface and of course the choice of the drinks, where on DeLonghi you have a lot of different options in terms of design. The Rivelia is extremely different than the LatteGo, for example. From the Magnifica start at the entry level to the Prima Donna at the top with the Rivelia and its dual bean hopper system. There is a model for every profile, every budget, every level of expectation. Those machines tends to be more expensive than the Philips. So for me, Philips stays more in the entry to mid-range, even their premium model like the 5500 like this one. For me, the philosophy is clear, make automatic coffee simple and accessible. That's not a flaw, it's a choice, but it comes with the consequences in the cup. We'll talk about that soon. For the ease of use, I'll give 1 point in the entry-level machine for Philips and 1 point for DeLonghi on the range depth and the customization options. A quick word before we go any further, if you already have a bean-to-cup machine at home, whatever the brand, and if you're not sure how to setting up properly, I've created a free guide and the link is in the description. You can go have a look. Round number 2 now, the coffee quality. For me, this is where it all comes down to, because you can have the best interface or ease of use in the world. If the coffee in the cup is disappointing, well, your machine might collect dust. Let's have a look at the grinder, because here on the paper there isn't much difference. We can set up the grinder on DeLonghi on the 13th position. It's a steel conical grinder, where on Philips it's ceramic, 12th position, so pretty much the same. But we will see the grind fineness is not exactly the same. In terms of dose, usually I have higher doses on the DeLonghi, 12, 14 grams, even sometimes 15 on the Doppio Plus version, where Philips rarely exceeds 8, 9, 10 grams per cup. Does that really matter? Yes. A finer grind and a higher dose, that means more resistance, that means more contact time between water and coffee, better extraction. In the cup, you will have more body, more crema, more intensity, better espresso. Let's look at the extraction. The difference has been clear for me. A DeLonghi espresso usually develop better notes, better aromas, a thick crema, dense texture. It tastes like an espresso is supposed to taste. Philips, usually the espresso is lighter, sometimes a little bit too light. That's where I can fall short. With a smaller dose of coffee and a grind that can go as fine as DeLonghi, the water goes through the puck a little bit too quickly. Not enough extraction, that's under extraction, and the result in the cup will be sometimes a pale coffee lacking body, sometimes too acidic. It's not always the case. With the right beans and the right setting, we can make something okay, but it's also something to keep in mind. But I must add that both those machines use like a pressurized system, which will make an espresso that's alright, but it's not traditionally like a real espresso. It's gonna lack a little bit of body and intensity compared to a proper espresso machine. Again, it's something to remember. So in terms of coffee quality, 1 point for DeLonghi. And if you're still with me, and if you find this video helpful, you can leave a like below, subscribe if you haven't done. We are on YouTube and that really helps us a lot. Thank you. Now let's talk about milk drinks, because for a lot of family, that's where the decision also really gets made. The Philips LatteGo, it's quite interesting. And I think the LatteGo system is Philips' biggest strength. Why? Because the carafe, it's just 2 parts. No tubes, no hidden circuits. You can rinse it under the tap in 10 seconds. That's genuinely brilliant in its simplicity. So for a family making a lot of cappuccinos every morning with no desire to spend 5 minutes cleaning up afterward, it could be a serious argument. Now the trade-off. The microfoam is alright, but it's lacking texture, it's lacking density. Sometimes it looks like more like a bubble bath. If you're after a silky microfoam, you might hit a ceiling with that. Now, DeLonghi's answer for milk drink, it's the latte crema. We have different options, the cold one, the hot one, so we'll focus on this one. And usually we have a more textured microfoam. We can adjust also the texture across 3 levels here, from drier to something more like for a cappuccino. And again, it's a level of control that Philips doesn't offer. Plus, we can also leave the carafe in the fridge. This one, it's not super easy. The trade-off, cleaning is a bit more involved with the latte crema. There are small tubes here to rinse thoroughly. It takes more attention. It's a little bit more complicated than the LatteGo. Round number 3, 1 point for Philips on its simplicity and 1 point for DeLonghi on the quality of the milk drinks. If you mostly make cappuccino and hate cleaning, LatteGo. If the texture and the quality of your drink is important, latte crema. Now let's talk about maintenance, because it's not the most interesting subject, but it's quite important. And here we have similarities, but also differences. Let's look at the brew group. Both brands have a removable brew group, which is a good thing. But there is one important difference. DeLonghi's brew group is a little bit smaller, simpler, and easier to maintain. Rinse it under warm water. That's it. No grease, no lubrication. Philips requires a little bit more diligence, degreasing tables, lubrication, and a little bit more involved routine. It's a point that often gets overlooked, but it adds up over time, so something to keep in mind. Now let's talk about descaling. Philips has a real edge with the AquaClean filter. You can install it from the start, and I think you can go up to 5,000 cups. So for a family, that means you can stay for a long time without any type of descaling cycle. DeLonghi offers also a filter, but it's not as long. I think every 2 or 3 months you will have to change it. But either way, I would advise you to use a proper filtered water. Round number 4, a draw. DeLonghi, simpler brew group, but more frequent descaling. Philips, excellent with the AquaClean filter, a bit more demanding brew group to maintain. So a quick recap, what DeLonghi does better? For me, pure extraction quality, coffee body, crema, fineness, DeLonghi. The milk texture and the foam adjustment, again on the latte crema. And as we saw, we have much more options from entry level to premium, but also more expensive. What DeLonghi does less well. Sometimes the interface on some entry level, the descaling frequency without the AquaClean equivalent filter, the milk system cleaning slightly more involved, and sometimes a higher price point to access the best features. Now, what Philips does better? The immediate ease of use from day one. The LatteGo, this is clearly the easiest milk system to clean on the market. The AquaClean filter that lets you forget about descaling for quite a long time. But what Philips does less well? For me, the coffee intensity and body. Sometimes it's lacking. The coffee dose per cup, also lower. The grind adjustment, the grind is usually not fine enough. And the brew group maintenance a little bit more complicated. So to conclude this video, here is where I land. Go with Philips if your daily coffee is mostly cappuccinos, lattes, if you're a big family, multiple users, and have no patience for cleaning routine, especially for the milk system. If you like a coffee that's more on the light side and if it's okay for you. Go with the DeLonghi if you drink mostly espresso, lungo, if for you the coffee quality in the cup matter more than cleaning convenience. If you want a machine that grows with you with a little bit more settings, range and precision. Or if you plan to explore different beans and roast profile over time. And maybe avoid both if you want a real espresso. In that case, a traditional espresso machine or a semi-automatic machine with a standalone grinder will give you a quality level that neither of these machines can reach. And I'm curious, drop a comment. Are you Team Philips or Team DeLonghi? I read every single message. Don't forget the free guide about the settings. And don't leave yet, you'll see a video appearing here and I'm pretty sure you would love it. I recommend watching it. I'll see you soon on Cafelista. I hope you will have a good week. Ciao.